Hi, it's Matt at Mastering Excel. Welcome to our second Microsoft tutorial. If you're enjoying the videos, please hit subscribe and don't forget to ring the bell to get notifications when new videos come out. Today, I want to explore adding functions to our formulae and introduce the concept of ranges of cells to you. You'll remember from last time we covered the different parts of Excel, built a simple formula and renamed some cells. I want to extend that with formulas, cover how to write them, and what Excel tells you about them. Let's start with the sum formula. It's a nice easy formula, it gets used a lot, and it gives us the opportunity to see how to pass information to a function in a variety of ways. The sum function, as you might have guessed, sums up some numbers. It adds them together. You can see in cells A2 to A5, I have some numbers prepared already. Here's how it works. In cell A1, I'm going to type equals. Remember, equals lets Excel know we're going to enter a formula. Then I'll type sum and open bracket. Now a tooltip pops up to tell me what Excel is expecting me to pass to the function. This is a really important feature because reading it means that when you use a new function or one you rarely use, Excel is letting you know exactly what to do. You can see in this case there's number 1, number 2, etc. with number 1 in a bold font. Let me talk you through that. Number 1 is a required element, and it just means you need to pass it a number. The 1 is just there because it's the first part. You see number 2 there in second place. This can be an actual number, or you can give it a cell reference like we did with our division formula in the last video. Let's give it a number 10. You can close the bracket now and you'll have the simplest version of this function, although at this point it wouldn't be too useful as the function would just return that one number. So instead we'll add a comma. When we do that, you'll notice the number 2 changes to bold font and number 1 changes to a normal font face. The part that's bold here tells you where you are in the tooltip. You can see that number 2 is in square brackets. That means it's optional. You're not required to enter a second value into this function, but you can pass it one. We can pass it a third too. The ... means we can pass as many as we want. So that's one way to do it. Let's add a 15 in there, close the bracket, press enter, and you can see we have 25. And you can also see in the function bar we still have what we typed. Or we could create the same thing with cell references. So in cell B1 we'll type equals sum open brackets A2 comma A3, and we'll extend that. We'll have A4 and A5. And you can see the tooltip has also extended as we've typed. We'll close the bracket, press enter, and you can see there we have the sum of those 4 numbers. And you can see in the formula bar we still have what we typed. We can even use a combination of numbers and cell references. So in cell C1 we'll see that if I type equals sum open brackets 10 comma 15 comma A4 comma A5, close the bracket, press enter, we still get 70. We can see in the formula bar what we typed, and it's adding together the 2 real numbers and the numbers it gets with the references. Now, to make this easier, especially if we're dealing with a lot of numbers, we can pass what's called a range to the function. A range is shown by typing the first cell that we want, followed by a colon, and then the final cell. This will include all the cells, inclusive of the first and last cell. Let's see that in action. In cell D1, we'll type equals sum, open brackets, A2, because that's the first cell with our information, colon A5. You can see here it selected those 4 numbers. We'll close the brackets, press enter, and you can see it gives us the same answer as we got earlier, and we didn't have to enter every cell we wanted to add up. Just like in the first tutorial, we can make this easier to read. After all, the values in cells A2 to A5 almost certainly have some meaning. It could be sales or purchases or something else, but it will have some meaning. And, just like we did with the individual cells in tutorial 1, we can name an entire range. I'm going to select cells A2 to A5. I'm going to click in cell A2, drag my mouse down, release in A5. You can see I have them selected. I'll go to the name box and we'll say they're purchases. So I'll enter purchases in the name box and press enter. Now I've done that, I can create a new sum formula in cell E1. We'll type equals sum, open brackets, and in number 1 we'll enter purchases. If you remember, as I start to type, it will appear in the autocomplete, and I'll press tab to complete that. Close the brackets. You can see it's selected A2 to A5. I'll press enter, and sure enough, we get the number 70 again. If we look in cell E1, it still says equals sum purchases. Now, we've covered just one of the formulas that Excel has to offer. How do you know what the others are and which one to use? I know this is a question that people struggle with often. And, well, firstly, over the coming tutorials I will take you through many of the formulas, how they work and when to use them. And secondly, Microsoft's website has great documentation. There is a link to the appropriate page in the description below. Okay, so there we are. We've introduced our first function with sum and shown you how to know what you need to pass to the function for it to work. We've introduced the concept of ranges and we've named them. And we've started to touch on how you're going to learn more formulas and when to use them. In our next video, I'm going to introduce you to some more regularly used formulas, start to combine formulas together to get more complex results, and let you know the thought process that you should use to put that in place. I will also shortly be launching some mini project videos. These will be longer than the tutorial videos, but will take you through short projects from start to finish and incorporate many of the techniques I'm introducing to you here in the tutorials. See you next time.